why are so many people go to hell? Right? Yeah, it's paved with good intentions, which basically means you're going around saying to people, I'm not going to hell, I don't believe in God, but I'm a good person. And how do you define that? How do you assume you're a good person? Like, just because you don't cause problems, you actually help people? Are you donating to the homeless guys? Are you trying to do things with your money that are just for you? Like, what is it that sets you apart that you think you might go there? Because God says it's a narrow path for me to be on. Narrow road means like something really skinny, which is probably people in single file going out that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of people think they're good, but they're just wicked. When I was quite young, me and my brother used to work together, and I think I was 21 and he was 23, like quite young, and we're working for a freight company and forklift driving and chucking stuff around, sorting freight. And I remember my brother loved his marijuana, just smoked it all the time. It was his elixir or Achilles heel, whatever you want to call it. And he ended up, he ran in with this new crowd of guys at work, and he started taking needles, started taking meth. And I remember mum and dad wanted to get him out of the house because he just lived in the shed, or in this case a garage. It was a brick garage. It was nice and cool. Under the garage there was like a little shed out the back, and he'd just play guitar in there, so they wanted to get him out of the house. So they actually said, look, we'll go guarantor on a house for you. And he got this house, and it was a really nice house, like just 2-bedroom. It was only about 100,000, because back in those days houses were a lot cheaper in Australia. And he ended up losing it because he was hanging out with these losers from work, and I'd come over his house to hang out with him. He'd just say, come on bro, come hang out. But then when he got on this meth, it was like, you'd go around there and you weren't even speaking the same language. Like, I'd just look at them and say, I just don't want to be here, And I tried telling my brother a few times, you got to stop taking the meth, it's going to kill you. And he'd listen to everything I said, and I think he was gonna believe me. And then 5 minutes later, he'd convince himself, well, what if I just took like a hit now, and then that would be my last hit? And he'd completely do a like 180. He'd go in the other direction, and you're just like, mate, we just spoke about it. You were lucid. You understood everything I said, but you still go down the road paved to destruction. And same thing with my ex. I've told her many times the things she's doing are not of God, and she'll get punished one day, and she keeps just chasing after validation from people that are not her friends, the people that actually kind of hate her, but they're real bitchy, so they can't just flat out say that, exclude her from things. So they just invite her and sort of shadow ban her, like kind of, just ignore her, but let her be there. And it sort of stops her as a narcissist from targeting them. But she never catches on, it's like, I can see it plain as day, but she just keeps heading down to destruction. And like the biggest problem is people can't be spoken to. Like they can't get over themselves. They just want what they want now. And this is the devil's biggest lie. It's like, you got plenty of time to get right with God. You got plenty of time to go to heaven. You can worry about the afterlife later. Just enjoy your life now. And what did Jesus say? He who loves his life will lose it. So people that have a good life now only care about their money and they worship mammon, their money, they're going to die because it's self-centered, selfish, And that's not what Jesus preaches. We're supposed to love our neighbour as ourselves. And people just can't get over themselves, And there's so much darkness in the world nowadays, like everyone doesn't even realise that they are surrounded by darkness. Like the devil doesn't have to actually convince people to go to hell because he's convinced them that he's a nice guy instead. And that, how many people are chucking up the devil horns because the concerts they've gone to, or, making light of the devil. The greatest trick the devil ever did was convincing people that he didn't exist, For no marvel, Satan can transform into an angel of light. Like spirits, they're shapeshifters. They're not made of physical form, so they can be whatever they need to be, as well as the devil's a liar, and he's the father thereof. So he was the first one to lie, so he's pretty good at it, so many people just think they can have their cake and eat it too, like all these narcissists that are in the church that are just like, oh, yeah, I'm a good church-going person, but on the weekend I go out clubbing and dancing and rubbing up against guys, or if it's a guy rubbing up against girls that I don't even know. Some Christians even think it's okay to just kind of go, oh, do the 3-date rule, where it's, you go out on a couple of dates and by date 3 you're smashing that girl, like it's just kind of expected that you'd have sex. And it's like, that's not how God sees it. God didn't want you just fornicating left, right and centre and like having soul ties with everyone and just really being stuck in your flesh. We're supposed to just have one woman, It's like when you want to separate from people as a Christian. Oh, don't you want to be in a big gang stalk? Don't you want to be like in a group that just sits around and gossips or just talks about footy or talks about your idols and all this rubbish, just this vanity. And it's like, it seems like a waste of energy to me. It's like, why would I need to impress man? Why do I need to impress a fellow man? Like, most people, you look at them and they look pretty much the same as you. Like, they don't look like they're any better or worse. And we're all made and painted with the same brush, so why would I want to impress someone else? Like, I don't care if it's my boss or, some colleague or a friend, or someone has a hot girlfriend, so why would I want to impress him just because he has a hot girlfriend? It's got nothing to do with me. Good on him that he's got that, but I just don't get it. Like, why do people just chase such vain things? Like, they waste most of their life. You hear about lots of people, they might have had the same job for 30 years, and it's like, but what else did you do with your time? Like, growing up, my dad had a pretty hard job, and not a hard job, but hard in the amount of hours he had to do, and he just did it anyway, and night shift, whatever they asked, he'd do it, and he still had time to come home and work in the yard, like a brick labourer, just doing real hard sort of jobs. And he never got someone else round to mow the lawn. He did that himself. And he just created so much, and he turned the house like a home, because it was like, the standard of the house was much better than everyone else's. And it's not to be prideful, it's just to say that the things he did that he put his energy to, they bore fruit. I think it's much better to be something like that than sitting around a table trying to impress people. Like, it's just a waste of your life, And you can talk to all these people about their vain pursuits, like whether they're taking drugs, they're drinking every weekend, they want to go fishing, or they want to do this or that, and it's like, it's good to have a hobby, but not if it just uses all your time up, And some people are so full of themselves, like, what are you doing to help people? Like, there are so many people that need help nowadays. People committing suicide, homeless people. What are you doing to help them? Like, yeah. And, like, part of the problem with my narcissistic problem was I was put around a lot of Catholic people. And I'd speak to them about religion because it'd break my heart to think they've got an understanding of Jesus, but it's a corrupt understanding. So I just asked them what they believe about Jesus, and they couldn't really quote scripture because they could only quote what they called the Father, or the priest that would tell them stuff on their mass, and it's like, so you just believe some man, like you don't actually have a Bible of your own to study and get into the Word to know what's right and wrong. You just have a guy tell you. Sounds like indoctrination to me. Sounds like pretty much the same stuff they do in schools, which the government teaches, where you go to school and then most of you come out as factory workers. It's like, you're already taught how to punch in for a 9 to 5. Yeah, it's just all indoctrination. And I could tell them that till they're blue in the face, and they'd just stare at me funny, like, oh, why are you saying that? Are you crazy or something? Why don't you just believe what everyone else believes? Like, there's no open-mindedness nowadays. Like, nobody can actually be spoken to. Like, they're all programmed in one way or another, and it's still going to end up taking them to hell. And you could be a good person, but you might have a problem with food. You just eat out too much, you're doing it for yourself. You're glorifying your stomach, and you're not really doing it for any other reason. So there's so many pitfalls, but people just don't realise what a rabbit hole we live in. Like, everything's by design, and nothing is created that's different. Like, the most interesting thing is when I was in Perth, and you'd go from area to area, like you'd have to go through a whole bunch of suburbs to get to where you're going. So every single suburb had a shopping centre, a bottle shop, they had a dry cleaner, they had this, they had that, but they're all the same. And even the shops, they all look the same. A lot of them are called Westfield shops, and it's like almost identical to each other. And people don't even realise they're wasting their time. Like, the devil's just laughing at them, like, oh, why are you so busy chasing after new shoes, or a new surfy shirt or something like that? You could have been reading your Bible, you could have been having a relationship with God, you could have been seeking peace. But the only thing you sought is stuff to validate you, and that's not peace. You'll buy that stuff and then you'll feel empty inside. You'll just be like, well, that was good. I wasted all my pay on the weekend. I'll just have to wait till next week, and a lot of that stuff, it's just perishable. It just dies, much like ourselves if we don't do the right thing by God. And even more so, same with my narcissist. She keeps getting packages brought to the house. Like, she won't pay the bills, but she'll have all these packages just sent to the house like every day, and they look like clothes. You don't have to look too hard. They just look like they're packaged clothes. And so she already had like three rooms packed full of clothes, and it's like, well, why do you need that many clothes? And Do you think after all the lies you've told and the deception that you've wrought that people aren't going to figure out, hey, it doesn't matter what clean clothes you put on, you're dirty on underneath, you know? Like, because once the game's up and the narcissist starts falling apart, that's what happens. And like, some of them will accept it that, I'm no longer relevant, like people don't believe my lies anymore. And then there's just some really stubborn ones that just double down, like this is not the end, and they just keep trying to buy new and new clothes, like. And it's a real problem with them is they don't just have one demon, they have lots of demons, because they got targeted as a child, and once one got in, he brought all his friends with him. So they have so many problems. They have like gluttony, they have they have a love of food, they can't help themselves. They got the clothing problem, they got impulse buys, they just spend money like water, and no matter how many times I tell these people too, because I've met a lot of narcissists in my life, they just double down on it. They just go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, I've lived this way, you know, for so many years. The biggest blessing we have on this earth is that we can be forgiven. We can seek forgiveness from God. It's never too late for us as long as we have a breath in our body, and it doesn't matter what you've done. It's never too late. As long as you've got breath in your lungs, He's not done with you. And the fallen angels, the servants of Lucifer, they only got one chance when they failed, because they were in the presence of God. So He was like, you knew better. But these people on the earth, they haven't seen me, but they still believe, you know. And God likes to do everything in the hidden, unseen realms. Like when you bless someone, when you do charitable works, He wants you to do it in silence. He doesn't want you to put it on your Instagram or your Facebook that you have been given out to people, you know. Everything He does is like that. And because people can't see Him, they don't want to believe in Him. But the thing with hell, you don't have to believe in the lake of fire. You're still going to get tossed into it. If you're not in the Lamb's Book of Life, you're getting tossed into the lake of fire. And at that stage, when we meet Jesus, if He's tossing you in the lake of fire, you're not going to be able to say, wait, Lord, I'm ready now. I'm ready to make things right with you, or sorry, Lord, the devil made me do it. The devil told me I had so much time when I didn't. He lied to me. None of these excuses are going to wash, because we did have plenty of time to get right with Him. But the cognitive dissonance that people are under, the programming, most people can't even be spoken to. Like, I went to a party and I had one guy try to attack me verbally because he hates flat earthers, and he made a point of saying it a few times. And the first time I shut my mouth, I just didn't want to get involved in the conversation. But the second time I thought, I want to put him in his place. So I did say that I, believe in flat earth. And we had a heated conversation for quite a while, and he kept telling me that he knew best and that the science was correct and I don't know anything. And the science that he found on YouTube proves everything. And none of it proved anything. That's just what he believed. But because of that, he and his wife would just avoid me any other time they saw me. Just like a coward, he would just walk around. And I've seen him a few places before, and he just avoids me as well. And it's like, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And everyone has beliefs. But the thing is, even when wicked people have the wrong beliefs, I don't walk away from them. I try and plant seeds of the truth in them. But people nowadays are so programmed that if you don't listen to the science, there must be something wrong with you. Let's talk about dinosaurs for a minute. What is a dinosaur? Nobody really knows, and the scientists just started using big words, and they started taking random bones and putting them together and going, well, that's this thing, that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which no one had ever heard of. And you look at the bones and you're like, it looks like someone's not very good at jigsaw puzzles. It just doesn't make sense to me. But because the scientists, the humans, said it was canon, it must be truth. Just like they say, the world's been around for 65 billion years. And it's like, no, try more like 6,000. That's what God says. And you look around the world, I think if it was 65 billion years old, it wouldn't look as lovely as it does. It wouldn't look as beautiful. It'd look old and haggard and ready to explode. But plus, not only that, the population would be much bigger than it is. We'd be full by now. The way people pump out babies, the earth would be full, no matter how big it is, and it would probably just explode from the weight of all those babies. So yeah, this is just a message, just a random thoughts that are about the fact that, you gotta take hell seriously. It's not about whether you believe it or you don't. It's not about whether you believe in Jesus or not. It's about that this is the unspoken law. This is the laws that God wrote down. And whether you believe or not, you're still going to get judged for it. And the only law that you have in the court of God is Jesus. So if it's not in your court, you go straight to hell. So just remember, Jesus loves you, I love you, and God bless all of you, and have a blessed day.